O ye of little faith, you thought that I was not going to post this week, but here I am. I'm Sam with the Prismatic Pearl, and today we're going to continue our study in Ecclesiastes 8. Um, some housekeeping. I have the Prismatic Pearl. We are up. We're moving along. We got podcasts going, long form with Tim Surrett, maybe even others in the future. Who knows? Find me on Facebook. Here I am. Contact information. If you have questions about ministry, about setting up your own stuff, learn from my mistakes. I have a lot of mistakes that I've learned so far. It's it's constantly changing, and we're doing other stuff. Let's see. Yeah. I had to redo YouTube, unfortunately. However, the RSS feed is set up, so everything is now going to YouTube. If you like this content, please support me putting things on YouTube. That's the only way I'm going to be able to get this channel to grow. I have 2 subscribers, one of which is probably me. The other is some MVP. The top tier members of the Prismatic Pearl follow me on YouTube. Spotify, as you can see, I have car coach Charlie Melton. He is he's also doing stuff formally, autocorrect on MPB. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that, but it's my stuff, not his. He's steering you in the right direction. He knows a lot about cars. He knows a lot about saving you money. Check it out. Charlie's a super good guy. Good Wine the third. That's my buddy Eddie. I know him from the Marine Corps. He's doing poetry. He's doing music. If you want to see something different, if you want to see new artists that are trying to make their name for themselves, check it out. I have a few friends of mine who I'm trying to get in this space, and I am certainly open to dialoguing. I'm certainly open to help you guys get in the space. I don't know a whole lot about growing everything yet, but this is just what we're gonna do. This is a ministry. We're here to grow. We're here to improve ourselves. We're here to just make progress towards we're discovering new lanes of ministry, and so I'm very excited to do this. I'm very excited to continue growing and improving. And that being said, let's jump into this. Ecclesiastes 8. So we left off talking about this. Let's see, where were we at last time? Yeah, we were talking about women's wrongs instead of women's rights. I'm kidding. But no, we were talking about avoiding all extremes. Those who fear. Let me go back. Yeah, whoever fears God will avoid all extremes. I think that's super relevant to today. Everything about the things that are going on, it's constantly asking you to be pulled from one extreme to the next. Don't fall for it. It's a deception. It's a distraction. The only thing you need to worry about is Jesus and his plan for the future. There's a couple things I want to get into here, but let's just get in with Ecclesiastes and find out where we're going to go next, all right? So, who is like the wise? Who knows the explanation of things? A person's wisdom brightens their face and changes its hard appearance. So we're going to jump in. Obey the king's command. I say, because you took an oath before God, do not be in a hurry to leave the king's presence. Do not stand up for a bad cause, for he will do whatever he pleases. Since a king's word is supreme, who can say to him, "What are you doing?" Whoever obeys his command will come to no harm, and his wise heart will know the proper time and procedure. For there is a proper time and procedure for every matter, though a person may be weighed down in misery. You know, this might be a hard teaching, and surely there's nuance in all things. And I think that's one thing that Ecclesiastes is good at, is demonstrating that you don't know everything. You don't know what the weight of circumstances. You don't know all the things that are going on behind closed doors. Certainly there's some things I have concerns about. Being a Marine, I certainly can appreciate that, living in 2026, I was born too late to, go to the Middle East. I was born too early to go fight in the Middle East, but I was actually born in just the right time to go fight and die in the Middle East. So, that being said, there is something truly strange about, the time that we are alive, and the fact that, the United States particularly is so kind of addicted to war almost. Now, that being said, I'm not a staunch anti-war guy, but I'm also kind of not super hype about it. I'm out of the inactive reserves, so I'm gonna let this generation's men and women make those determinations. Of course, they are. Let's see. They're under oath, like, and that's one thing we need to consider about talking about our men and women in military. They're gonna do the job. They're gonna do it as best they can. They're trained for this. They do the repetition, and regardless of how you feel about these things, not always, certainly have an opinion on it. That's not what I'm saying, but I am saying we can only know so much about the situation going on. If we talk about politics, it's very obvious this is about oil and the petrodollar. It's very obvious that there's multiple nuclear powers involved in these things. It's a scary time. It's a time to really consider what we're doing as a country. But you're not the one in power, ultimately, right? My opinion has no effect on Donald Trump, as nor did it have an effect on Joe Biden, nor did it have on Obama, and certainly it probably won't have an effect on, whoever's next, right? But so I think it's kind of healthy to understand that unless you're going into office to make these determinations, and even still, you're not going to get the same intel, you're not going to get the same briefs, you're not going to get the same information that he is dealing with in the White House. And sure enough, I'm not going to say that Donald Trump is a king or anything, but I'm going to say that he's the closest thing we have to one for the next 3 years. So, is it worth your time to just bog yourself down in everything he says, everything he does? And I think that's one of the big sicknesses that we have. The only reason that politics is as it is now is because we treat it like Sunday night football, and that's kind of the thing is, every day we have a Super Bowl Sunday, and the Super Bowl Sunday is what's going on in politics. That's not healthy for a nation, but it's also, it's not super good either, the 24-hour news cycle. And most people, it's good to keep in the back of your mind what's going on, but it's not super healthy to take the place of the life that you have outside of it, right? So that being said, since the king's word is supreme, who can say to him, what are you doing? Yeah, I'm not in Congress, I'm not in the Senate, I'm certainly not in the executive branch. And those are the people that we've put up there to negotiate on our behalf. Certainly have your opinions, but just understand that, driving yourself nuts over this stuff is not particularly healthy, because there is a proper time and procedure for every matter. Though a person may be weighed down by misery, since no one knows the future, who can tell what else? Uh, who can tell someone else what's to come? I'm not sure if you guys have heard of, was it Kalshi? Yeah, it's a sports betting company, but people are making real time bets on politics right now, and some people are actually preferring this over polling, because you go in a poll and you could just BS whatever the poll says, but the people that are talking about these things, they're actually putting money down on what's the next situation at hand, and people are making massive amounts of money off this, being right or being wrong, or waiting till the money's right, and then pulling their money out. So this is like the next iteration of stock market betting. So I'm obviously not saying that you should go gamble with your money here, but I am saying that, like, this is what's become of what we're doing here. This was sports betting. Now it's political betting. So it's very interesting, the time that we live in. Let's see. As no one has power over the wind to contain it, so no one has power over the time of their death. As no one is discharged in the time of war, so wickedness will not release those who practice it. And that's another thing too. It's the fact that we really don't have the amount of control that we wish we had in the daily operations of our country. We don't have the power over death. What's the verse? No one can add a minute to their life. That's not what I was asking about. Who can add an hour to their life? That's not right. Who can add? It'll come to me. There's a verse in the New Testament, I believe, talking about who can add time to their life, and you can't, right? And no one is discharged in time of war. Wickedness will not release those who practice it. Something about the wicked things that we do. You talk about addiction, and addiction. You can be addicted to a lot of things, and not necessarily just chemical things. You can be addicted to the way you feel when you lie about something, right? You can be addicted to the rush of adrenaline, fighting and whatnot. But something about being wicked like that, it's kind of hard to get out of. Let's see. All this I saw and applied to my mind to everything done under the sun, and there is a time when a man lords it over others to his own hurt. You hurt yourself, by doing these, by just constantly bogging yourself down with these woes, right? So then too I saw a wicked burden, those who use to come and go from a holy place to receive praise in the city where they did this. This too is meaningless. When the sentence for a crime is not quickly carried out, the people's hearts are filled with schemes to do wrong. Although a wicked person who commits 100 crimes may live a long time, I know that it will go better with those who fear God, who are reverent before him. Yet because of the wicked do not fear God, it will not go well with them, and and their days will not lengthen like a shadow. There is something else meaningless that occurs on earth. The righteousness who get what the wicked deserve, and the wicked who get what the righteous deserve. This too, I say, is meaningless. So I commend the enjoyment of life, because there is nothing better under the sun. There's nothing better for a person under the sun than to eat, drink, and be glad. Then joy will accompany them in their toil in the days of the life that God has given them under the sun. So, above all, I know I can find this one. Set your. I wish I could type today. On good things. Let's do this one. Philippians 4:8. Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. And that's the thing, right? You can really make yourself bitter by holding on to all the things that are just wrong with the world. And I wish sometimes that people around me could just be more positive about the things that are going on, because the artist, man, my mind is just not right today, I guess. Frank Forrest Frank. It's gonna be a good day in every single way, because the God who made the universe knows me by my name, right? That I'll never get used to this. That these songs, they're good, man. I love them. Forrest Frank is really got some good stuff out there. But it's just that mindset of, or the old hymn, count your many blessings, right? Count your many blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God has done. That is, that's something, once you kind of start on that path, it's really hard to be thankful and miserable at the same time. In fact, it's almost impossible, right? So when I applied my mind to know wisdom and to observe the labor of what is done on earth, people getting no sleep, day or night, and then I saw all that God has done. No one can comprehend what goes on under the sun, despite their efforts to search it out. No one can discover its meaning, even if the wise claim they know, they cannot really comprehend it. Let's see. The more I know, I know nothing. Yeah, I mean, that's what, the Dunning-Kruger effect? I thought that was Socrates. Oh, it is Socrates. Yeah. The more you know about things, the more you can kind of understand that, hey, I really don't know a whole lot about anything. I can only go off the information that I have at the time. And then you live your life a little bit more, and you realize, hey, I was wrong about that. That's a pretty good and healthy thing, I think. I'm at 18 minutes. Let's see. A common destiny for all. So I reflected on all this and concluded that the righteousness and the wise and what they do are in God's hands. But no one knows whether love or hate awaits them. All share a common destiny, the righteous and the wicked, the good and the bad, the clean and the unclean, those who offer sacrifices and those who do not. As it is with the good, so with the sinful. As it is with those who take oaths, so with those who are afraid to take them. This is the evil in everything that happens under the sun. The same destiny overtakes all. The hearts of people, moreover, are full of evil, and there is madness in their hearts while they live. And afterward they join the dead. Anyone who is among the living has hope. Even a live dog is better than a dead lion. So, dogs in the Middle East are not exactly considered the cleanest, nicest animals, right? We love dogs here in the West. Dogs are amazing, right? But at the same time, in the Middle East, they're almost like carrion, right? They um the best thing I could think of is like a coyote, right? Like dogs in their natural habitat. I'm not talking about like wolves. Like I'm talking about like the mutt that you see like scrounging around the Middle East, they're looking for scraps, right? They're not clean animals. They eat dead things. Um, Anybody who has a dog knows they sometimes will go eat their own poop, right? But the thing about anything living, especially even unclean as a dog, is the fact that you know there's still hope for the future. But a lion is the king of the jungle, right? The royalty, a majestic creature. It's also a very dangerous and powerful creature. But a living dog is better than a dead lion, right? There, once death has taken its toll, that's kind of it. And this is a thought that I've had swirling around in my mind for a while. Um, I don't know that the Jews of this time really had a concept of salvation, right? Christian, theology gets better over time. Jesus made a way for us, right? He's preparing us a home in heaven, but it's not it hasn't been demonstrated to me enough to really for me to understand, and maybe a more well-read guy can comment on this. If you know the answer to this, uh please email me, DM me, whatever you got to do. Like, talk to me about this. Did the Jews actually have a concept of salvation, or was it just the eternal purity test, right? Good person goes to good place, bad person goes to bad place. That's not how the Christian actually views the world, right? We know that heaven is a grace-given gift. It's not by our works, it's not by the things that we do. So, that being said, this is why I think that the Jews at this time, or the Israelites at this time, did not have a solid concept of, the type of salvation that Christians, Christ followers, really, you know, have in store. Of course, they have the sacrificial system. They have the concept maybe later of Abraham's bosom, which is basically the good place that people go to. They have the concept of Sheol, which is kind of like a pre-limbo kind of idea where it's like a spiritual washing machine. Once you die, your soul kind of goes there and then it gets purified, right? And this is kind of and that's how I've heard Jews kind of talk about this. This is not my solid firm teaching on things. In fact, don't think anything do not take anything from me. I want you to go read it for yourself. Um but here's the kind of thing here. It's there's hope for better things while you're alive, but the Christian has that solid foundation of, hey, guess what? It can be even better in the afterlife. For the living know that they will die, but the dead know nothing. They have no further reward, and even their name is forgotten. Their love, their hate, and their jealousy have long since vanished. Never again will they have a part in anything that happens under the sun. So again, go eat your food with gladness, and drink your wine with a joyful heart, for God has already approved what you do. Now here's the thing. Here's a good one. Always be clothed in white. Always anoint your head with oil. Enjoy life with your wife, whom you love, and all the days of this meaningless life that God has given you under the sun. All your meaningless days, for this is your lot in life, and in your toilsome labor under the sun. That doesn't sound like a bad life. That really doesn't, right? Imagine, the white picket fence with your wife, kids, maybe a dog, right? Jews probably wouldn't be all about a dog at this time, but at the same time, like, imagine coming home after a long day of work and you actually have a good relationship with your spouse, a good relationship with your kids, right? I mean, that's the richest man in the world, right? I saw this video today. of this big man, and he like his wife kind of drapes herself in his arms, and he lifts her up, and then he like does a squat, and then his daughter comes off screen, and he lifts her up, like she sits on top of his wife, and he lifts her up, and then he squats down again, and their son comes back for one final giant lift, and he lifts them all up, and then they're all laughing and giggling, and he like leans over and puts them on the couch. That is the richest man in the world, right? You don't like, there's no amount of money that will buy that. And that's a life well spent. Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might, for in the realm of the dead, where are you going? Where are you going? There is neither working nor planning, nor knowledge nor wisdom. I have seen something else under the sun. The race is not to be swift, or the battle to be strong, nor does food come from the wise, or wealth to the brilliant, or favor to the learned, but time and chance happen to all. Moreover, no one knows when their hour will come. As the fish are caught in a cruel net, the birds are taken in the snare, so people are trapped by evil times that fall unexpectedly upon them. You know, I love that quote in Lord of the Rings where Frodo's like, you know, I wish the ring had never come to me. Like they're sitting in the mines of Moria, and it's dark and scary, and Gollum is this the right scene? Well, I know Frodo's like, I wish I could, you know, take Gollum's life, and Gandalf's like, you know, or I wish you would just, basically Frodo's like, I wish you would just roll over and die, but Gandalf's like, are you the one who's gonna kill him? Like, is that, you know, is it up to you to dispense with judgment like that, right? But, you know, no one can really control the times that they're born into. But it's you know, it's what you do in those times that matter. So wisdom is better than folly. I saw under the sun an example of wisdom that greatly impressed me. There was once a small city with only a few people in it, and a powerful king came against it, surrounded it, and built huge siege works against it. Now there lived in that city a man, poor but wise, and he saved the city in his wisdom, but no one remembered that poor man. So I said, wisdom is better than strength, but a poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are no longer heeded. The quiet words of the wise are more to be heeded than the shouts of a ruler of fools. Wisdom is better than the weapons of war, but a sinner destroys much good. All right, so that's almost 30 minutes. Check this stuff out. We're on Spotify. Check out Car Coach. Check out Prismatic Pearl on Substack. That's where we're hosting. Put in your email if you want it first. If you want it first before anyone else. I might forget to send out all the text messages. I might forget to put it on Facebook. If you want it before anybody else, like and subscribe to Substack. You do not have to pay for it. You might get prompted to pay for it. That's a Substack thing. You do not have to pay for it. Okay? If you got questions on ministry, if you got questions on maybe you want to do something like this, email me. We'll talk. All right. I appreciate your time. Peace.